So today we are going to be fixing a flat backswing. Why do you even need to fix it? You know, we don't really like to sort of say you're doing something that wrong or it needs fixing, but if we can get a little bit more neutral, if we can get a bit more repeatable, not only are you going to get more consistency, right? You're going to get more power. And if you're getting a bit sort of flat, too shallow, too much behind on the backswing, you're going to be in for a bit of a difficult ride as you're trying to make your way back. So we need to fix that and make the move just a little bit steeper, a little bit more flowing and simpler, all right? And I'm going to give you a couple of really neat ways to do it. Let's get into it. Okay, so first off, we're just gonna basically kind of cover what a flat backswing is, right? And why it's kind of not gonna help you. A flat backswing is usually caused by, well, a number of things. We're gonna cover those. One, it's either being too handsy here, all right? So when you move the hands in too much, you're gonna be all the way back over here. And then what happens when you're over here? This kind of move happens, right? So we kind of spin the shoulders over the top and that kills, right? Or you're kind of just a bit too flat with the shoulders, where you're trying to turn a little bit too much, right? Where we're turning this way and this shoulder plane, we haven't got any of that where we want to be tilting in the golf swing. Tilting in the golf swing is very key. In essence, one of the simplest ways to do it is put the club across your chest and point towards the ball a little bit more. That's it. It's actually reducing from here, the lead shoulder to the lead hip, kind of reducing that distance a little bit, all right? That's what it's almost feeling like, where we're just like this, and then we turn. That's kind of how you get into a tilt position. And that's one of the moves that you can do if you find that you're just a little bit too turny this way, okay? If those shoulders are too flat. So, try this. All right, humor me. Get up, grab a club, whatever you've got, or even if you don't, just sort of feel this move, okay? Tilt down to your lead side and then rotate a little bit, wind up, and notice how much more your shoulders are kind of tilting down, okay? Why is that a good thing? Because we're going to be here, right? From there, the arms are going to be a bit higher and it's going to be easier to shallow and allow the slinging effect, okay? So a very easy checkpoint that you can do to see what you're kind of doing with your shoulders. Or are you more this way as you're trying to swing? Are these a little bit flat here? Or is there a definite difference of the club, you know, the club head in this example being higher than the left? Where are you? Now remember, golf instruction has to be translated to you where you are at. And that's why I'm trying to give you a couple of options to know if you do something, try this. If you don't do something, try that. You have to be your own coach just a little bit. Don't take every tip as granted that you've got to apply it, because you might not have a flat backswing. But if you're with us so far, you probably do in recognizing a couple of the faults. But don't go out and try and fix them or change them all at once. Just feel the one that is right for you. That is so important. Being too sort of flat in that essence, we've got a really cool video that is called Winding Up. That's really going to give you a good sort of sensation to, instead of turning and winding and rotating rather, it's going to help you kind of just move the core, move the chest and wind up into this position. And it's a lot shorter, it's a lot easier, it's a lot simpler. Check it out below if you haven't already. But what we want to try and emphasize here is understanding what you do. And that's why I wanted you to do the checkpoint, because maybe you don't whip the hands in. Maybe it's just the fact that you sort of trying to make that turn, your lift, you know, in my case, the left shoulder is sort of lifting up out of the shot and then we're coming back down. And that's where you know, a lot of over the top shots come from, and kind of fat or whatever it might be. Not very good, not very good looking. Strainful. We don't want strainful. Is that even a word? I don't know. We're going to use it though. Strainful. So we want a bit more flow, a little bit easier. All right. So, and another point I just want to make is if you're a bit too far behind here, whether it's being pulled from the shoulders, from the arms being pulled back, we can often get a bit stuck, and then we're a little bit behind here, and that's when the sort of hyperextend comes in, and you get those shots that probably kind of get shoved out to the right. So if we're a bit too far behind, and we kind of fling it out to the right a little bit there, okay? Not particularly good either, right? So what do we want to try and do instead, right? We want to try and have a bit more flow and a little bit more on plane. And there's a couple of things we're going to do. The first one is to reduce the hand movement, okay? If we reduce the hand movement as we're swinging through this way, if we use the wrist too early, we're so eager to kind of move this club head, we're so eager to get it back here, right? Everything else stalls. We sort of make this move, everything else stalls. Then we kind of do our little, whatever you do, backswing, or even if you tilt, okay? If we move the wrist, you know, got to make a takeaway, and nothing else moves, and then we turn, it's something like this, a flat backswing, right? Again, not very useful. So we're going to counteract that. Here's the feeling I want you to have. I love this move. You're going to take a firm grip. You're going to be very loose with the wrists, loose with the arms, okay? Feeling heavy, feeling the weight of the club. But as you start your swing, you're not just snatching it with your hand. You're not trying to break your wrist. You're very smooth here, okay? And you're actually going to feel a little bit like the club head is behind the hands. It's actually going to be a little bit like this, kind of that movement as you're dragging it away, What's that going to do? I'll show you. What that's going to do is, it's very difficult if we exaggerate to sort of flip the hands round back here. It's very much more natural to allow the flow and the weight of the club to remain on plane and be a little bit steeper. And all I've done, the only thing I've done is reduce the forcefulness of trying to hinge the wrist. I have just allowed them, okay? I've just allowed them from my momentum from the beginning here to move back because I'm supple here. And what that's doing is it's putting me in a very wonderful sort of halfway back position without doing really a sodding thing. I'm just more focused on the movement and the momentum. We've actually got a video coming up on that. But if you find that you're kind of snatchy and panicky with the takeaway, really feel like you're almost pressing the butt of the club, and the butt of the club is coming up towards the hips here, keeping the arms a little bit straight. It's there, right? That's your little checkpoint. And that's it. If you're handsy, try that to here. Just little movements, feeling the flow, feeling the butt of the club and the hands sort of leading almost like this, all right? That's what you're going to feel. Exaggerate it to begin with, and I think you'll be very pleasantly surprised at how it's a good way to start your swing, to get rid of any tension, just to allow a little bit more sort of flow, okay? Just to allow a little bit more flow to give you the shots that you want, right? So let's get to the next one. All right, the next one is a sort of checkpoint to make sure where you are in sort of relation to everything else. Now, if you've got flow and you've got the spine tilt, you shouldn't really have to worry about this. But if you're still struggling, I want you to try it. The feeling and focus sort of checkpoint I want you to have, right, is that the elbow here is pointing more down, right? The elbow joint is pointing more down that way, okay? It's not over here. Just a little feel and a checkpoint. It's kind of difficult to be sort of on plane and the wrist being quiet, and then to sort of move the arms out this way, so we have to reroute. So that's it. Basically, make some golf swings. You can even do left arm only, okay? Feeling like, all right, where's this left elbow hinging towards? Where's it pointing towards? Is it nearer to my foot here? Or is it flying out over there, right? You be the judge. This is where you can coach yourself. All you need to do is feel and think about where this elbow is pointing, okay? You've got to make sure that, you know, that you're turning the core, the chest, right? But just a very simple little checkpoint for you. You get that right, and from there, you're in such a good spot to kind of complete the rest of your swing and give yourself room to come down, all right? All right, now we're on to the final one, and I love this one. All you need is a wee little bucket, okay? That's it. Quick and easy, and it's a good visual. And I know you've got a bowl or something at home, right? What we're looking at here is, imagine it's filled with water. I'm not going to do it because what's the point of getting everything wet? Use your brains, right? Or your imagination rather. So let's say this is filled with water, right? I'm holding it here, trying to keep that water in the bowl, right? If we either do the two problems, which is the hands kind of coming away or pulling in this way, the water is going to go flying out, right? Not very good. Or if we lift up too early or sort of turn too early, the water is going to go out. We want to try and keep the water in till we get to about halfway here, right? We're trying to keep the water in here till about there, right? This is giving us an on-plane, steeper backswing, right? From here, we can now toss the water out, okay? And that's actually getting us into a very nice kind of wide, on-plane backswing that we can then deliver the club back through. Now, depending, you can sort of add in a downswing move here, depending on what kind of follow through you have, whether you're a bit more rotational or a bit faster with the hands. You can either sort of see the water kind of this way, right? Where the water's the back of the bucket is here, or you're going to be a little bit more flatter that way, right? But it's another sort of education for you. Too many times we cheat our bodies. Allow your body to do what it can do, but don't try and force it to do too much, right? So if you find that kind of just getting to here, that's about all you can do, don't try and do this, because that's when you mess up. It's great if you can get there, right? If you can rotate your hips a bit more and you've got freedom, but don't force it, right? That's going to cause you so many more problems and put you out of sync and all that crap stuff. So there we have it. I believe in you. Use the bucket. Have the same visual as you would hitting a real shot. Feel like the water. Okay, I'm trying to keep the water there, and then I can throw it over the shoulder. All right, I had a bit of a misread there, but so it's okay. That's it. Very easy swings. Staying in front of the body, then tossing it over, okay? Dead simple, easy peasy golf. That's what we want.